What's up, guys? It's your favorite QB coach, and give me 6 months of your time. I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. In this particular video, we have another client before and after video for you guys. And this will be a very special one because this will be the first before and after where you guys get to see a client who's taken one of our 6-month programs. So you're gonna kind of hear a little bit of how we structure out the program as well as see the before and after results as usual. So let's go ahead and jump in. But before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is the Kiwi Coach 6-month program, but more on that later. So like I said in the intro, this will be a very special before and after because this is going to be one of the first before and afters you guys see with one of our clients going through the Kiwi Coach 6-month program. So if you guys didn't know, the first lesson, the main goal of the lesson is we're trying to give this client a roadmap of exactly what they need to change in their golf swing to get to their end goal. And currently right now, this player is shooting right around 77, 78. He's a high-level amateur golfer who plays in prefectural tournaments, but he wants to get down to a scratch level golfer so he can start playing in nationwide Japanese tournaments. So that's kind of the end goal, and really the first lesson we decided that we really needed to do a little bit of a remodel of the backswing. We had to change some knee movements on the face-on view, and then on the down-the-line view, we had to change some hand movements and club shaft movements. So that's primarily what you're going to be seeing in this client before and after. So let's go ahead and take a look at the before swing first, then the after swing, and then we'll come back and talk about what we're going to be discussing in this video. So this will be the before swing, and then this is going to be the after swing. All right, so as you can see, there's some really massive differences between the way the knees move throughout most of the backswing from this face-on view. So what I want to start is going over to position 2. We're going to talk about the lead knee as well as the trail knee, talk about the differences in rotations that we're working on as well as extensions. So one of the first things I noticed in terms of the face-on view was in the before swing that this lead knee wasn't really internally rotating on the backswing. It was actually moving towards the golf ball. And this is a really common thing I see with a lot of you guys here in Japan. I think that's actually something that maybe was taught back in the day to move that knee towards the golf ball. But for whatever reason, a lot of you guys out there that I teach, this is a common issue I see with you guys doing. And really the issue with this is it starts to move the pressure out towards the toes really early on the backswing. You're also going to start to see that your whole upper body probably starts to move towards the golf ball as well. And then in transition, what can occur is because you have so much pressure on the toes, when you're transitioning, you're starting to find that all the pressure starts to move back towards the heels, and you kind of get a little bit of that early extension look. You might see the hands kind of start to move too far out towards the golf ball. You might get that early release and all the stuff that we don't want to do. So the domino effect tells us, well, if we can change things earlier in the backswing, we typically can get a larger domino effect on the downswing. So this was one of the first places that we were really trying to focus in on, was trying to get that left knee, instead of it moving towards the golf ball, we want to actually have it internally rotate and actually have rotation as opposed to kind of flexion. So if you take a look at the after swing, we can see that the kneecap is now situated perpendicular to the target line, which is more so the correct checkpoint at this particular point in the golf swing. This is a really big key point again because we want to keep that pressure in the right place throughout the feet so we don't get too much pressure towards the toes so we can avoid what we were doing before. Now when we take a look at the trail knee in the before swing, we can already start to see what you'll see a lot more of in a little bit in a second here. But you're already starting to see that this right kneecap is kind of externally rotating, but also flexing at the same time. So what happens here is you're going to start getting a lot of pressure on the outstep of the foot when you start to do this. And you might even start seeing that your foot starts to kind of lift up, or the instep of the foot starts to lift up off the ground, which means that you have a whole bunch of pressure on the outside part of the foot. It's going to be really difficult for you to push correctly in transition. You're not going to get a really good center of mass shift. You're probably not going to get a really good center of pressure shift. And again, it's just one of the key fundamentals that if you want to be a high-level golfer or shoot like scratch-level scores, we need to have a really good center of mass and center of pressure shift. So this was definitely something we wanted to fix with that trail knee. So if you take a look at the after now, we can see that the knee is actually in a whole lot better position. Is it starting to externally rotate? Absolutely yes. However, it's not externally rotating and flexing at the same time, which is a big no-no if you want to have the correct pivot. All right, so moving into position 3 now, when the lead arm is parallel to the ground, you can already start to see more of the same. So if we take a look at the before swing, we're still seeing that that knee is kind of pointing off to the side and it's still continuing to move towards the golf ball. If we take a look at the trail knee, we're starting to see it start to flex even more as it's externally rotating. And that's going to get, again, that kneecap more and more on the outside part of the foot, more and more pressure on that outside part of the foot. And again, that was something that we're really trying to avoid. If we take a look at the after swing, we're seeing that the kneecap now is starting to rotate even more, right? So now it's a little bit more than perpendicular. And then also we're seeing that this knee is starting to extend, the trail knee, as it's externally rotating. So he's already starting to do a much better job with the knee work in the backswing to get that pressure to align to where we want it to align. And he's already, I think, in a much better spot. All right, so as we take him up to the top of the swing, this is really where you can see the massive differences between the two swings. So if we go ahead and take a look at the lead knee here, we can now see that the kneecap is perpendicular to the target line. However, it's a few positions too late, right? We want to be more so there at position 2, not position 4. If we go ahead and take a look at the after swing, we can now see the kneecap is situated somewhere right around here. So it's had plenty of internal rotation from the setup to position 4, which is exactly what we want. We've also seen that, which this is maybe a little bit easier to see on the down the line view though, but we've also seen that the kneecap has not moved towards the golf ball anywhere near as much as it was before, so he's already starting to get that pressure in a much better spot. And then the big change in my opinion is this trail knee. If we take a look at the before swing over here, he's right around 159 degrees with this knee flex, as well as the kneecap is definitely situated outside the outstep of the foot. That means he's got a bunch of pressure on that outside part of the foot, and this is kind of why you're seeing that the pelvis is not looking very right? It's kind of almost has too much left pelvic tilt, and the pressure is just skewed in all the wrong places at the top of the swing in the before swing. If we take a look at the after now, we can see that the knee is much straighter here, so it's right around 171 degrees. So that means that the pressure is situated a little bit more towards the instep of the foot into the correct spot, and now he's in a great place to where he can actually push his pressure, his center of mass forward the correct amount, and it's going to be a lot easier for him to control low point, get better contact, and then ultimately, hopefully, have a little bit better shot dispersion. All right, so that's pretty much the face-on view. I want to now go switch over to the down-the-line view because we also had a lot of great changes on this down-the-line view as well. All right, so moving into the down-the-line view, really the first place we were worried about was going to be the hand position at position 2. Now, this is a very common trait we've been seeing with a lot of golfers recently where they're trying to drag the hands inside and then try to keep the club head outside the hands. Again, if you watch our videos, you probably have heard before about the large range of motion variables, and this would definitely be one of them. If you get your hands inside of position 2, well, you can't trace the hands back towards that same position on the downswing because your hands will be way too far inside and it's almost impossible to get the club head to hit the ball. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to reroute the hands eventually to get it into a spot to where the club head can hit the golf ball. So then you have to do that with the large range of motion variable, right? So you have a large range of motion to do it, and you're adding another variable into the golf swing that you have to control at full speed, off different slopes, all that good stuff. It's something we really want to avoid. So if you take a look at the after swing, we're now going to see that the hands are situated pretty much perfectly where we want it to be. All right, that's it for you guys on YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, but before you guys click off, let me give you guys some quick summary points. So if you're struggling with the pivot, most likely from the face-on view, you're probably doing something funky with your knees. So I really want you guys to go back and rewatch the part where we talk about how the knees should move and try to be a lot more focused on what you're doing with your knees. If you're finding that you're kind of tilting your pelvis too much or you're getting a reverse pivot, a lot of these things can really be helped if you're focusing on your knees and trying to get the knees to move correctly. And then from there, you'll probably start to see that the pelvis will also start to move a lot better as well. Again, if you guys are struggling with this, well, check out our Kiwi Coach 6-month program. This was the first lesson for this particular client, which remember, the goal of the first lesson is give you that roadmap, show you exactly what we need to change to your golf swing to get to your goal. In lesson 2 of this player, we're actually going to start showing them, first off, more checkpoints for the iron swing, but also we're going to give them all the information, all the data, all the Excel sheets that they need to track their golf swing and actually get the improvements that they want. This is a really key point to the 6-month program, and that's lesson 2, but maybe more on that for another day. But check out the 6-month program. Go ahead and sign up. Sign up for the membership as well. It really supports this YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.